we care about.
Hello, how's everybody doing tonight? My name is Justin Nordell, and I am the newly elected president of the Northeast Regional Folk Alliance, also known as NERFA. And it is an incredible honor to fill such big shoes that have been held by so many incredible members of our community over the years. I am very, very honored to have taken on this mantle for a very specific reason, and that is that for the first time ever, NERFA has hired an executive director, and that executive director is our former president, Mr. Ethan Baird. So we are very, very excited for Ethan to take his new position with the organization, doing so much of the incredible work he's already been doing, but also giving him the ability to access so many more tools, both in his toolbox and throughout our community, and to value his time, which he has given so much of to this organization over the years. In addition, we will still continue to have Dan Gottfried as our treasurer, Kimberly Sinclair as our secretary, but we did need a new vice president since I vacated that position when I became president. And as such, I am very, very excited that Coco Wild has stepped up to that. And we are very, very happy to have Coco, our newest member of the NERFA board, in our vice president position. So again, the officers and staff of the Northeast Regional Folk Alliance are as follows: Justin Nordell, president; Coco Wild, vice president; Kimberly Sinclair, secretary; treasurer Dan Gottfried; and executive director Ethan Baird. And now I would love to introduce to all of you our amazing, esteemed executive director, Ethan Baird, who will be joining us.
Hello.
Hi, Ethan.
Hey, Justin. I think you're waiting for the wrong thing. Yeah, I do that all the time too.
It's a mirror.
The trick is always second guess whatever you're going to do is basically the way it works. So I know if I want to point at you, I do. Yeah, there we go. I got it right. I'm glad to be here. I'm really excited to get a chance to just start talking directly with the community about some of the work that we've been doing, talk specifically about sort of the NERFA 365 effort, which was something that we started conceptually about 7 months ago now. We're about 180 so on days in. We've presented over 16 at this point panels to more than, probably a lot of the same people, but 10,000 viewers, well over 10,000 viewers during that time period, covering everything from technical skills to mental health to brainstorming in innovative ways for presenters to look at the world. So we're really proud of that, but we are even more excited about what comes next, because we kind of had to start and figure out, I can't remember who said it, but there was the, you know what you know what you don't know, but you also don't know what you don't know. And we were in a phase in the beginning where I think we overestimated knowing what we didn't know, and we learned a lot from that. So we're ready to keep this NERFA 365 thing going, but we're also really looking forward to doing the best we can to have a virtual experience this year and really give a place for us all to come together and see each other as best we can. You unmuted yourself, so I assumed you were about to say something. Sorry.
And I was going to say I am very, very excited for that. NERFA 365 has been an incredible way to have professional development. There's been so much that even I've personally learned over these past months from the incredible array of panels, which if you go to our website, nerfa.org, and you've missed any, they are all available there for you to register and watch at any time. Now, professional development is something that NERFA is known for, but we're also known, of course, for our community. And that is something that we have been striving to connect people as much as possible during the pandemic with our amazing community groups. Ethan, do you want to talk a little bit about that initiative?
Sure. So what I can talk about in particular is when the idea of NERFA 365 came through, it really was the realization that for years, both the board and the community had been asking about the idea of taking this 5-day sanctuary that we all loved and felt like it was home, it was family, and trying to find a way to extend that through the year. It was made clear, or at least it was certainly vocalized by a number of people, that there was a need for not just education through things like paneling, but also through peer groups, through the opportunity to talk to your peers, get to know what they were going through. And in particular, the pandemic made that aspect of community that much more important. And tip of the hat to the volunteers that really ran those, to Genevieve, to Joe Crookston, and to Rod Abernathy for the performers panel. I felt very fortunate to be able to be part of it a number of times. It was a real opportunity for artists to talk about the challenge of having their identity sort of challenged during this time period. If you're a performer and you can't perform in front of people, what are you? And similarly, Dan Godfrey and Barbara Schiller for the work they did with the presenters group, because there were all kinds of questions as far as, can we still be presenting? How would we present? And became lots of conversations about technical problems, technical solutions, emotional hurdles, and emotional solutions. I was about to say emotional hurdle solutions, but that would be odd. But it was really a wonderful opportunity to continue the conversation. And it was really the right people having those conversations. It was really wonderful to be able to bring people together and have that. Along those lines, we made a change, or rather we changed it back to our social media policy. NERFA for a long time, under the NERFA Talk guidelines, had it so that you couldn't use it for self-promotion. And the pandemic happened and everyone was in pain and everyone was feeling particularly unheard and unseen. So we felt that it was sort of our job, our duty, to take a step back and offer people the opportunity to use that. And we kept that rule change for about 6 months. And what we found is, as a place for our community to get together and have conversations, while we solved the problem of people feeling the need and feeling like they wanted and needed a space to tell people what they're up to, what had ended up happening is we went from something like 4 to 6 posts a week with lots of conversations and lots of engagement to 50 posts a week with absolutely no engagement, where there were actual weeks where the most commented on item got 2 likes. And that really became unhealthy. It became sort of a trash space for people to put things. So we changed the policy again, but we wanted to keep the spirit of having it be a place where we really could root each other along. So we created a weekly post. And what I love about the weekly post is I write them and they go up every Monday at 9 a.m. And at this point, I know that there are people waiting because there are comments by the time I refresh the page. And what's wonderful is you get anywhere from 10 to 30 people telling everyone what they're working on. And each one of those people that's writing down what they're working on reads what everyone else does and is commenting on that too. So it's injected the feeling of community and the feeling of sort of togetherness and listening to each other. So that's just sort of our way of walking you through. Again, we knew what we knew. We didn't know what we didn't know. And, we had to figure stuff out as we went. So it took us a while, but we got to the other side in that space. And we're really looking forward to sort of the next steps in that space and what we're going to be doing between now and the conference. The conference is going to be great, but I'm excited to talk to you about the next 4 to 5 months.
Well, Ethan, now is the time to share all of the exciting news.
Well, do we want to talk about the conference or do we want to talk about what we're working on between now and the conference? I mean, we're going to talk about both, but just order operations. Which would you prefer?
Well, I can tell that there are a number of people that are on the stream right now that really want to hear about the conference. So let's not talk about that yet. We're going to talk about what we've got coming up in the next couple of months to make you all wait.
All right. So, the hardest thing about moving to the virtual space as opposed to the flesh and blood and seeing each other is just the realization that certain things don't really work. Online video is a really hard place to keep attention for long periods of time. So from an educational purpose, you can do panels that are very educational based, but it's really hard to get people to stop and listen. And that there's analytics that tell you that. There is the fact that TikTok exists. TikTok exists for you to listen to quarter of a second and say, nah, next. That's literally what the platform was built on. So there are certain things that we spent a lot of time trying to think about the best way to virtualize it. I know that there's a tremendous interest from our community, specifically from our folk DJ community and from the presenter community as a whole, about On the Griddle. It's been this great, very specific entity kind of experience that we've had for years, but we kept sort of walking through the virtualization and doing a panel like this, and just, as handsome a devil as he is, watching John Platt for a minute and a half go while he was listening to a video, it felt like the wrong medium. So,
Ethan, if there are people here who have not been to NERFA before, what is On the Griddle? It sounds like pancakes.
It's usually served at the same time as breakfast, so there's that. But On the Griddle, it was this wonderful panel where everyone at the conference was able to sort of throw their CD in the hat, so to speak, and ask for a particular track to be listened to for a minute to a minute and a half by a panel of generally either industry people or folk DJs specifically. And it was started by the folk DJs, so we wanted to go back to our roots. So we took that experience where they'd listen for a minute and a half and then comment and give feedback. Generally speaking, these weren't. It was always suggested that you not submit your babies. Don't submit the song that was near and dear to your heart, and all you were looking for was someone to say, "Man, that's fantastic," because that's not really what the panel was about. So it was an opportunity to get some honest feedback about things that you were working on. And it's been a conference favorite for over a decade now, and we really wanted to revive that in the best form that we can. And we finally came up with a format that works. So starting in, I believe, September, you're going to have from NERFA a weekly podcast, where each podcast will feature a single song reviewed by 3 members of the Folk DJ Showcase. We'll be doing submissions. The submissions will go live July 15th, which is going to be a key date for a number of reasons today. But the submissions are going to go live on July 15th. There will be 8 chosen for the first round. Yes, 715. There'll be 8 chosen for the first round, and once the group of DJs goes through that, we'll be releasing them every week for 2 months, starting in September. And during that time frame, we'll start the second round. There'll be a different group of DJs and a different opportunity to get heard. So this is sort of in line with the real philosophy behind what NERFA is aiming to do right now, which is give as many opportunities to hear as much of what the community is working on as possible. The Spotlight Showcase, which is my favorite of sort of our new pieces and features that we've started rolling through this year, is a great example of that. It became very clear last year that videos are kind of a big deal in ways to be seen and heard, especially during a pandemic. And generally speaking, it's an art form that our community is shied away from. Dipped our toes in the water, but not really fully embraced. So we reached out to, of all people, B&H Photo, the largest audio video real. I always forget the right word. The largest seller of photography and AV equipment in North America, and when when we did that, we didn't expect a call back. Honestly, But we got a call back, and they basically said, how can we help? What can we do? And we now have a member of the B&H retailer. Thank you, Alan. I appreciate that. We had them step up, not just in funding. At this point, we've given out $1,500 to artists in our region to help them continue to create. And we've got the third round of that coming to a close tomorrow. So if you haven't submitted your video yet, please submit your video. One of the nice things is virtually all the videos, whether they win or not, end up getting anywhere from 50 to 100 views. We actually, before we started tonight, we were running through those videos because a lot of them are really fantastic. So that was another program that we're looking to continue. But we'll have, as I stated, starting the mechanism for it's going to start on July 15th. We're going to have On the Griddle running pretty much straight through moving forward. We are going to take August off for our panels. We've done it every other week for 8 months. And, vacation's a thing. So we're going to let everyone enjoy their summer a little bit, and then we'll come back really hot and heavy.
Not everyone has something going on in August. Like I have the 59.5 Philadelphia Folk Festival, August 21st and 22nd. But I understand you're giving a lot of people time to attend the 59.5 Philadelphia Folk Festival, August 21st and 22nd. Plug. Thanks, Ethan.
You're welcome. Yeah, it felt like the right time, especially as people are starting to get out and sort of reenact with or re-engage with the world to give a little time back and to get really back into the swing of things come the early fall, September timeframe. And really the focus once we get back is going to be specifically on preparing for the conference. And I think that probably gets us to the next part of the conversation when I don't have to talk as much.
But we get to invite somebody that we both know and love to talk a little bit about it. So please welcome to the stage, Kimberly Sinclair.
Hey, everybody. Can you hear me okay?
Sound great?
Yep.
Greetings from Nova Scotia. Everyone, NERFA, Canada's part of NERFA too. Maybe we should hey, everybody, maybe we should just give them a little geography lesson. So if you were you're in Canada and you're from Ontario all the way to Newfoundland, you're part of NERFA. And if you're on the east coast of the United States, from Maine all the way down to, I think it's one county in Virginia.
Yes.
You got those folks. But it's okay if you're not part of NERFA. You're SWERFA, you're SURFA, you're Far West. We got lots of people under this beautiful Folk Alliance umbrella. But for NERFA, the conference this fall, which is going to be completely digital. This is why I'm here this evening to tell you all. And first off, thank you everyone for joining us. We're very excited. This is super fun for us. We've had a great time getting everything online, and that's what we're going to do this November 11th through the Sunday, which is the 14th. We're going to take the NERFA conference and we're going to put it online. So wherever you are, you can join us. And the big thing about July 15th, that's when we open registration. That's when tickets go on sale. Yeah, like Justin's doing 1-5. So everybody, on July 15th, that's when we're going to open the gates for everyone to register. And we have 2 cool things to tell you about. Well, we have really a lot of cool things to tell you about, but 2 that I'm going to focus on right now because we're still kind of planning, these things. It's a pandemic. What are you going to do? So on July 15th, we're going to open the submissions. We're going to have juried showcases, just like in real life, which is super cool. And the best part about it is there's no fee to apply for a showcase. As long as you buy a ticket for the conference, boom, you can apply. And this is why I've been standing in the wings for 40 minutes to tell you all this stuff. So July 15th. And don't forget the video submissions close tomorrow, which is freaking awesome stuff. $250 from B&H, who are like, you haven't seen their commercial. I highly recommend you go check out the commercial on B&H so you really get to know them, because they're super cool retailers. Like, they are like awesome. So did I do my thing, fellas? Did I do it?
You did. It was wonderful. That was fantastic. I'm really excited, in particular because I think most people that know me know I'm a tech guy. So there is a unique challenge in trying to create an online experience that we're not trying to duplicate. We can't replicate being in the same room. I can't replicate getting a hug from Alan. Or seeing Ann Saunders pass by in the hall, but I can do my best to find a number of different ways to have us interact with each other, and to feature all of the different parts of our community as best we can. And we're not ready to talk through all of the ways that that's going to happen because we're fine. I can't say it because we haven't gotten everyone to say yes yet. And if I say it, they're going to be mad. So I do promise that there will be a tremendous number of announcements between now and July 15th to let you know more specifically what is going to make up this thing. But we asked the question on the NERFA Talk page, as we are wont to do about every week, and we said, what's the number one challenge that our community faces? What do we, on the whole, need to be thinking about? And the number one answer, by far, I mean, it wasn't even close, was ninjas. There are too many ninjas, and they keep stealing all of our tip jars.
But the number two was.
The number two was, and Noah on base, who asked the question whether he can ask a question. Yes, you can ask a question, and you would be welcome to ask that. So the
actual number one was.
Yeah, the actual number one piece of feedback was diversity, and this was diversity across. This is diversity at the true root of the meaning of the word, meaning diversity in representation, like most of us think about it, and the fact that we are. Well, no offense to my peers, we're a little monochromatic, and we're aware of it, and we need to find ways to invite people, not just to come in to be seen, but to come in and have a seat at the table and come in to have a real voice within the community. And along those lines, one of the things I'm very proud to talk about, though, again, we haven't finalized all of the details, is we are specifically reaching out to presenters of color within the BIPOC community specifically, and telling them, listen, this is your guys' thing. We've got time for you. We will give you all the resources that we can to help make this happen. But we very much want to have a showcase that really features a segment of our population that we haven't really heard from as much as we can. So we're working on that. We're working on a similar thing as it relates to regional diversity, where we're reaching out to our maritime partners and the Eastern Canadians and saying, hey, we love you guys. And here's the thing. We get why you don't come down to Stamford. That's a long drive, and customs is a pain in the butt. But now you can do it from home. So we're reaching out there and talking about doing a specific Canadian showcase for the same reasons. And really the end goal that we have, one of the interesting things, a little inside baseball in the conversations that the board has, when we're talking about doing a virtual conference, one of the first things that was said was, oh, this is great. We can get people from California and from England and from Pakistan. I don't know. And that started, and we're all really excited. And then it sort of, there was a tapping of the brakes, and there was the really important realization that what we need is more people from our region. We already have this huge region with thousands, tens of thousands of musicians and presenters and all of these people. Why don't we use this as an opportunity to reach within that space and pull them in? So that's going to be a big part of strategically what we are trying to do, while at the same time celebrating the wonderful people that we know and love within the community and have been part of the conversation for a long time, which I guess I'm one of those people now. It's funny. I think I'm just at the point, I just turned 41. I'm just at the point where I'm not being called the young guy every week. That's Justin. Justin's going to be Justin, you got like 9 more years. You're 30, 31, somewhere in there.
I'm in my mid 30s, along with
Okay.
Dan Whitener, and
Yes.
age diversity is definitely something that NERFA has really worked toward. And there was a wonderful program that was started back with Cheryl Prasher, the Young Folk program. And the
Yes.
Young Folk program has been working for many years to identify some of our amazing musicians that are under the age of 30 that are part of the NERFA region, to help them with some professional development, as well as to help present them at some of the best festivals in the region. And we've had a number of incredible artists who come through that. But we are certainly looking for an amazing array of people to be joining us this year, not just at the conference, but if I may pivot to talk about some of the great committees that we have, that we need you, you to join and be a part of, to help NERFA be an incredible 365 experience. So the first thing is that I'm very excited that the Diversity, Inclusion, Equity, and Transformation Committee, DIET for short, is going to start meeting next month. And Coco Wild and I are going to be heading up that initiative, and we are looking for people that are interested in talking on a micro and a macro level about all of those topics, both within NERFA and within our larger community in our region. We're looking to both create room and space for people at all of our events, as well as creating safe spaces for people to tour and present throughout the region. In addition to that, Dan Whitener started the SAFE initiative back at the NERFA conference 2019, and we are going to be revitalizing that as well. And we are looking for people, again, at a micro and macro level, to look at safety within our community, both at the NERFA conference as well as throughout our region, in different spaces for presenters and artists alike. In addition, we have a finance committee with the amazing Dan Gottfried as treasurer, as well as Matthew Raymer on that committee. And we are looking for some finance-minded people who are not on the board to help round it out, to help keep us focused, and to just make sure that we've got every vantage point we can. We've gone through amazing strides in the last couple of years in getting NERFA on our own set of books and doing all sorts of wonderful things there. And I cannot praise Dan Gottfried and his leadership as treasurer enough. So if you join that committee, it's going to be a lot of fun, and you'll be able to see how far we have come. In addition to Diet, Safe, and Finance, we are going to have a conference committee. So I know that might sound a little out there for a conference to have a conference committee. However, as we've been telling you, NERFA 365 is a thing. We have been working for, as Ethan said, 181 days on it, and we recognize that the NERFA conference itself is something that we want to make sure, when we're able all to gather together in 2022, that we are able to make sure that it is an incredible, safe space, both from a Board of Health standpoint as well as a community standpoint. So we are looking for people who are going to work with Ms. Coco Wild on that committee to help ensure that when we launch the conference again in person in 2022, all of our ducks are in a row. We maintain all the great things that you love about the NERFA conference, while bringing in some new and very exciting changes. So we would love for you to consider being a part of that as well. In addition to that, we have our collaboration committee. Our collaboration committee is the one that I always have a mental blank on, and so I'm going to pass it over to Ethan because it's his baby. Ethan, go.
All right. So we've got the board of directors sort of oriented committees, and then there are sort of for lack of a better term, sort of the executive committees, and those are the ones that I've sort of had my hand in, because they're the people that help us get through the day. And those committees are primarily the programming committee, who are the wonderful people, and I do want to actually call them out here. Dan Godfrey serves on that. Joe Crookston serves on that. The wonderful Biff Kennedy, who has been serving on that longer than I have, and I've been doing it for 6 years, serves on that. Our partner from B&H, Christian, and our partner from Music Cares, Jennifer Leff, all serve on that committee, and it's a wonderfully thoughtful group of people. We also have a communication committee headed up by that lady, to basically make sure that we're getting the message to you guys when we're doing stuff. The collaboration committee is really the team that pulls it all together. This is the team that is going to be sending out all of the surveys that you see from us. Anytime you see one of those questions on the NERFA Talk page asking like what's your favorite thing or all of that stuff, that comes from the collaboration committee. We are doing our best to make sure that let me take a step back. I am trying to make sure that I am not guessing what you want, but rather I know what you want and we're addressing it. And the collaboration committee.
The royal we.
Yes.
The royal
yes.
we. So
the
that's
royal
the collaboration committee. And as Ethan alluded to, we already have a very, very active programming committee. Again, that Ethan named everybody, and our marketing communications committee with Kimberly and Michael Kornfeld. So as such, we've got a number of wonderful opportunities for you to get involved with NERFA 365, but seriously throughout the year. And we really would love your help. We'd love the opportunity to see you and interact with you, get your opinions, and help shape the future of this organization. So much has changed in the last 2 years. And as far as I consider it, but very much so for the better. So if you're at all interested in any of those committees, be it the Diversity, Inclusivity, Equality, and Transformation Committee, the SAFE Committee, the Finance Committee, the Collaboration Committee, or we've got Marketing Communications and Programming already up and running, but if you're interested, let them know. So just please email me, which is very easy. It's justin@nerfa.org. That is JUSTIN@nerfa.org. And I will make sure that I connect you with the head of that committee, let you know when we're going to be meeting, because we would love, again, to see you more and have you involved.
I just realized I left off the most energetic and wonderful person on the programming committee, which is the amazing Megan Carey. It's one of those things when you're going through names in your head, you're like, I'm going to forget, so I'm going. Yeah, so I forgot. But Megan has been doing some great work, and just an honorary shout out to Izzy Heltai, who served on that committee up through the beginning of the year. But yeah, sorry. Just wanted to make sure we were counting our friends.
No, I appreciate that. So again, justin@nerfa.org if you're interested in joining any of those. Would love to hear from you regardless.
Fantastic. So, Justin, is there another item that you would like to cover, or should we we got a lot of questions that we've been asked. Should we jump into some of those?
I guess we can go to questions because we know how patient people are.
Sure. So I'm going to start with the easy question. Can we ask questions in chat? Yes, you can. And you know this because Noah, you are my MVP of the night because you asked a bunch of questions and they're all really good ones. So the first question that Noah asked was, with regards to a virtual conference, could a band with multiple members do a pre-recorded set to avoid the trepidation of streaming with multiple channels that we might encounter in a showcase? Really good question. As a guy that ran a band for 10 years, my heart is with you. So we haven't finalized the exact form of the formal showcases. And when it comes to the informal showcases, we're really not going to have any control over whomever is running those is going to choose the format that's going to be in. But for the formal showcases, it is most likely that all of those will be pre-recorded. One of the things that I won't get too deep into, but we are working with partners to find both spaces and available cinematographers to make that the best experience possible and to make sure that NERFA is doing its part where if you've been deemed to be a formal showcase artist, you are essentially some of the people that we've said are doing the best work out there. So we want to make sure that you can present yourself in the best way possible. So I hope that answers the question. It will be pre-recorded, and I get the trouble that it takes to do anything before aside from that. Next question, also from Noah on Base. I really like Noah on Base. If anyone else wants to ask a question while we're answering these, by all means, jump into it. How will unofficial versus official showcases be differentiated in a virtual conference? This is pretty straightforward. Basically, guerrilla showcases are part of the heart of what makes our conference. And if you haven't tried to Jenga block yourself into a hotel room with 75 other people, I ran a showcase where my band played with 12 upright bassists at the same time. So if you haven't experienced that, you've never experienced NERFA in my book. But the official showcase will have a definitive time when literally nothing else will be going on. No other stages will be going on. No other content will be going on. It will just be the official showcases. It will be pre-recorded, and what will happen is you, as the performer, will be invited into the chat room. And one of the functions that we have available to us right now is the ability for you to appear as a talking head in a chat where your little text comes up. And if a presenter is in the room who wants to talk to you, they can immediately request a one-on-one video. So you can essentially have a pop-up one-on-one Zoom meeting with a booker or an industry person looking to learn more about you. Again, our opportunity is trying to tie folks together in ways to make all of those wonderful connections that we get in the physical space as positive as possible in the virtual space. So I hope that answered that question.
July 15th. July 15th, Noah, that's the key day.
So the way it's going to work, when you buy your ticket, when you get your ticket to the conference, the official conference, one of the questions that you answer when you buy that ticket will be, are you going to apply for a showcase? And if you click that, you will get a link sent to you with a invite directly to fill out your submission form. And you are going to have to enter your specific ticket number in that form for us to be able to validate, to make sure that everyone has registered. But aside from that, there's no additional fees. This isn't like previous years where you had to get your registration ticket, you had to pay for your formal application, you had to pay for the semi-formal application, and then you had to pay for sound services on site. You buy your ticket, you get to participate. That's really all there is to it. Other questions? Again, from Noah and God, Noah, you know what? I'm saying it right here because what I love. Oh no, that's the wrong one. And will there be scholarship volunteering opportunities to reduce cost of attendance for those with less money who still want to participate? Yes. And as a matter of fact, because you have asked so many wonderful questions, you, my friend, are getting a virtual ticket for free, because I'm just glad you're part of this. Thanks for throwing your hat in the ring. Now, as far as people who aren't Noah, who haven't been asking the questions to get this, there will be both scholarship opportunities and volunteering opportunities. The volunteering opportunities are going to be substantially different than they were before. We don't need people sitting in a room handing out flyers, handing out surveys. We need some tech people, and we will define specifically what those needs are probably in the next 2 to 3 weeks. And if you can do that, you should volunteer in that space. But there's another way to volunteer, and that is basically to become an ambassador. If you choose, if you choose to, we will give you an affiliate code where you will earn back 20% of every ticket that you get out there and sell. So not only can you essentially pay for the entirety of your ticket with 5 tickets, but you can actually make money. And this is really, it's our way of, to some degree, letting you do the work for us. I'll be honest. But the other part of it is,
you're supposed to tell them that.
Well, but the truth is, Noah, you're a young dude and you're from Boston, so I already like you. But the Boston part, not the young part, though the young part's cool too, I guess. for the younger folks in our community, the only way to get more younger folks to come out is for them to bring in other younger folks. As a 40-year-old, if I go around trying to recruit 16-year-old, I'm going to probably end up in trouble. So it's not a really great plan. And similarly, if we're looking to increase the diversity of the people that show up, empowering the people that don't have as much representation is sort of the best way that we know how to do that. So that's the mechanics specifically surrounding this that'll be out there for scholarships and volunteering. I think I just talked about the volunteering. Scholarships are going to be available for anyone that wants them. You just fill out a form and we'll get back to you with how much can be saved. So that's that
Easy
question.
as pie. All you have to do is fill it out, and every single person that fills it out will be responded to.
We're going to move on from Noah and go to our friend Neil Eckstein. Are meals included in the registration? Kimberly, would you like to talk to this? Oh, Kimberly's frozen. So
Well,
Kimberly's not.
If that Uber Eats sponsorship comes through, then absolutely. But otherwise, we are going to encourage you to make your own food in the comfort of your own home.
I would say be on the lookout. When the tickets go on sale, Neil, we are thinking through a number of innovative packages specifically to the purpose of trying to replicate as for the people that truly want to replicate from the programs to the cannolis. We're doing our best to find ways to do that. So be on the lookout. Scott Wolfson points out that he makes his own food at the actual conference, so you'll feel right at home, my friend. You're all set.
Scott Wolfson is about as DIY as they come, so I appreciate that. Check out his new video if you haven't yet. You
absolutely should. And the best part about being at home is the next comment from Neil, which is yes, if you're participating from home, it probably is an open bar, unless it's not an open bar, but that's something else. So we'll just move on. The only other question in here is one that I'm tempted to skip, but I think it's probably worth having a conversation about because it's going to lead into sort of a longer conversation. And that is this. Are you planning to stay in Stanford in 2022?
Dun, dun, dun. So I will take that and say that as of right now, as of 2022, our contract with the hotel in Stanford has come to its conclusion. So we have the ability to stay in Stanford. We also have the ability to look elsewhere. As such, if you remember earlier in the meeting, I mentioned that there is a conference committee. And part of the conference committee, a subcommittee, if you will, is going to be a location committee. And the people on that committee, including myself, Barbara Schiller, the aforementioned Coco Wild, are going to be looking at some other places to potentially hold the NERFA conference in 2022. Now, that's not saying that we're leaving our home in Stanford. We more than likely are going to stay there, but we have been presented with the ability to shop around and to look at other options to see if there are places that might better serve us or might be a little bit more geographically accessible for some people. So if you are interested in participating or if you've got a hot tip for that, please do message me at justin@nerfa.org. Again, we are not necessarily leaving our home in Stanford, but we are looking at other options. Also, the conference committee is going to be discerning how some things work at the 2022 conference. So we might not be able to do everything the exact same that you know and love, again, from a public health standpoint or what have you. So as such, we want to make sure that we have options that are out there that may adhere to some different needs. So as such, again, everything is way far out there, but we're going to be honest with you. We are looking around. Ethan, anything you want to add?
No, I think that's a really good way of putting it, and done diplomatically in a way such that I'm glad you're the one that jumped in. I think along those
Presidential, if you
lines,
will.
presidential. You very presidential look to you. I think Alan asks a good question, which is, isn't it difficult to pick a site without knowing where the attendance will be? The answer is yes, but that's again, to Justin's point, one of the things that the conference committee is going to be working out, and that's where the collaboration committee and all the other teams sort of come into play. We'll get a feel coming out of this year's conference what the attendance will be, and we'll do our best to make that estimate. The truth of the matter, and this is sort of a hard truth that is not secret, in the 5 years that we were at Stanford, we only didn't lose money the last year.
1 year.
So in the 5 years we were there, we lost money 4 of the 5 years, because even when we sold it out, the way the pricing worked, because of where we were and how it worked, we lost money, and that makes it a difficult place if you can't guarantee a sellout. So that's certainly going to be one of the conversations that the conference committee will have. 2 other questions. One I like because it's a wise ass question. Do you have a committee that comes up with committees? No, we don't. But originally, the programming committee was called the panel, and that was my favorite panel to be on. It's what led me to getting involved in this stuff. So there's that.
I will say that the committee to come up with committees is the staff's jurisdiction, which would be Ethan Baird. So technically, you are a committee of one, my good sir.
Yeah. The spectacular Lisa Schwartz pointed out eating meals together in virtual breakout rooms. Yep, there's that opportunity is going to be part of it. We do have time set aside for both structured peer group eating areas for specific conversations. We call them peer groups with a purpose, to really tackle some of these things that people are saying are really important and talk through things that we can do. And we also are setting up essentially a randomized space that you jump into to have meals, and you get shunted to a random table. So for the folks that miss the ability to sit down and discover their new best friend, we got you covered. Kimberly is back. Hey, Kim.
Sorry. Hi. Sorry, I
Oh, good.
accidentally unplugged my Wi-Fi and was wondering what happened. So, what are you going to do?
So Alan, again, asking the pertinent questions. How much more money do we have to lose? Not a lot. We're going to do our best to basically go money neutral on the virtual conference. We are investing in it, and the goal here is to reach out to a wider audience of people and see how many people we can get. A typical NERFA pulls in anywhere from 650 to 750 people, at least during Stanford. That's really been our average show up rate. The goal with our virtual conference, given that it will cost substantially less than going somewhere in person, will open itself up to all of the people that can't travel, and all of the issues that come with that, is to essentially double that number. We know that we're going to lose some of our regulars who just aren't interested in the virtualization experience, but I feel like we also are more than doubling our opportunity in reaching out to new people. And of that space, a good number of those folks, we're counting on being scholarships. We're counting on doing everything we can to incentivize more people to come join us. So as far as how much more money, I'm not going to give you an exact number. We don't have enough to have a conference that completely doesn't work. And I want to address that specifically because I received a call. I received a call a couple days ago from one of our community members saying, we're losing some people in the community, and I think it's really important that we recognize, and we are certainly within our socials and within our community as a whole, talking about the loss of folks. And we're all of us have our best wishes for our friend Joel Pomerantz, who had a stroke yesterday. But we're aware of sort of the timing issue, but at the same point, it was brought up in an attempt to convince me to have a conference this year regardless. And the truth of the matter is, for us to get the space, it would be essentially all of the money we have in a bank account just to reserve it. And hopefully we can make some of that back. And that just, I'm new at this executive director thing, but it really felt like an organization, a decision that would be made to make us feel good in the moment, but in the long run would rob us of the ability to provide services. So I felt like it was worth sharing that.
And I'll just chime in as the president of the board of directors. Board of directors of a nonprofit organization such as NERFA have the highest fiduciary responsibility. And if we were to choose to host a conference this year, we saw absolutely no way that we would be able to best serve community, as a large number of our community members in the community groups that met did not share that they were hoping to have an in-person conference this year, and were sharing that they wanted to continue to stay safe and to continue to meet from afar. In addition to that, we wouldn't be able to get the people that did want to come in to have the conference that they so wanted. So it would have been a lose-lose situation had we tried to go forward with the conference this year in person. By presenting it virtually, we're creating opportunities for you to have some of the aspects of NERFA that you know and love from the comfort and safety of your own home, or with some of your band members or chosen folk family safely, as well as being able to participate in everything as much or as little as you want. And as I believe it was Neil asked, open bar. So that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, and we are really excited. I believe as of July 15th, we'll also be rolling out our notional schedule of all of the things that we're looking to do. But with the technology that we're trying to really wrap our arms around, and when I say that, I don't mean wrap our arms around like we don't know what it is. I mean to interpret the technology in a way that allows us to offer the opportunities that we would have had in person or even improve on. And that's really been the frustrating, fun, flabbergasting, and really joyous part of this. And I realize I'm an IT guy, but to be able to come up with a way where I can see someone perform and say, wow, that's really great. Oh, there they are. Hey, Noah on bass. That's fantastic, man. And to be able to do that quickly, I think is really pretty amazing. And it's, sorry, I just read Alan's new comment, which, it's 95 degrees where I am. So man, do I relate to that. What I'm looking forward to as we discover that technology and the ways of creating these wonderful ways to connect really gets to the new question that we have from Scott, which is, are we hoping to continue some of the virtual conference features once we can have an in-person conference again? The easy answer is, I don't think we have a choice, Scott. Honestly, I don't think we have a choice. And that's going to be something that the conference committee is going to have to keep in mind, because anywhere that we go now needs to have high-speed internet, needs to have direct connections. I believe moving forward, just for the interest of the organization, it's in our best interest to have a video crew. It's in our best interest to videotape not just the keynote, not just the formal showcase, but all of the stuff, and to be able to keep that and offer that to our members and the people in our community year round. So I see so much in the way of possibility in sort of hybrid. And as far as exactly what that's going to look like, no one knows. No one knows. Like literally, no one knows. I work with a group of people that do technology. That the tool that we're using, I know the developers of, and I talk to them regularly. It was a company started by a group of people that put on 10 to 30,000 person conferences, tech conferences originally. And they wanted to try to find a way to virtualize. And these are people that know how to throw a party like no one's business. And we've all been sitting down and saying, how the hell do we create a best of both worlds? And it's going to be interesting. But, in the back of my head, I have this idea where you come on site and you sign up for a mentor option, and the mentor option is Arlo Guthrie. And you're like, oh, there's no chance Arlo Guthrie's here. He might not be. There might be a room that you walk into and there's a video screen sitting there. And Arlo's like, hey, Alice's restaurant, pretty cool, huh? So I think that's going to be fun. And getting to that part, I think, Lisa brings up a really good point. The digital delivery will help to address accessibility issues, not just regionally, but also amongst our aging community, among our disabled community. I'm honestly honored that he reached out to me, and I've been trying to find the right opportunity to utilize him. But one of my favorite members of our community, and anyone goes to Falcon Ridge knows exactly who I'm talking about, Galen Spiegler, is one of those people that everyone knows. He lights up the space, and he is one of those people that is confined to a chair and confined in the way that he can express himself in person. And he's also working on advanced degrees on what it means for accessibility and for the disabled community. He's going to be writing an article for us about how we can be more open and accepting, and that's going to be part of the event as well. So, that's where our head's at. How can we invite the most number of people in to help us run forward? Without getting too philosophical, I think one of the most important things that anyone that has the wonderful opportunity to be able to take the baton from someone that created something great, in my case, Courtney, who took it from Diane. One of the greatest opportunities that you have is to do your best to find the next person to pass that baton to. And I think the best way to do that is to make sure that we have as many people possible invited to have those discussions, invited to sort of see what the needs are. So I'm not running out, but it's in the back of my mind. Good leaders get the job done and move on. So might take a little while, but we're going to get it done. So anyway.
Not so fast, Buckaroo. We are going to keep you nice and well for the next few years. So, Ethan, do we have any more questions from our community?
We had Blaze McMullen, who jumped in a little late and said, is there a link to the virtual conference tickets? No, not yet. July 15th. You're going to see the link on NERFA.org.
715.
Yeah.
715. And when those tickets go up, you'll be able to get to them from the NERFA.org website. Would tell you to check in on that website regularly. It's actually gone through a tremendous number of upgrades just in the last couple of months. You should look at the events that are upcoming. We have a fantastic event tomorrow. I can't tell if Kim is waving at someone or waving goodbye, or if it's just more of a royal. Go for it.
I was going to suggest that folks sign up to our newsletter as well. If you haven't done that and you're not getting your weekly, monthly dose of NERFA, you don't know what you're missing. Sign up. Go to NERFA.org. Sorry, over to you, Ethan, about the panel tonight, which is tomorrow night, which is going to be amazing.
Tomorrow night. We got enough going on.
Exactly.
7-1, no 5.
Yes, just 7-1. This is we put on a couple of panels really with our partners from Music Cares. This is sort of the first official one that was really put together in conjunction with B&H, and it was to focus on sort of the joyous nature of what music videos can do, what value they bring to the table. And I want to be clear because someone wrote a comment, and I'm not I always worry about being defensive. I'm not saying this to be defensive.
Sorry.
My programming committee has to put up with me, and that is an amazing thing for anyone to have to do. But one of the things that I have been very, very vocal about is we can pull in experts in fields, but if we're pulling in an expert who's coming in to say, hey, I'm an expert, buy my book, I'm not going to bring them on. I'm not comfortable with that. We're not trying to sell you anything. We're trying to make sure you're aware of what your options are. I know it's a joke we all know. I know it's a joke we've all laughed at, but frankly, it needs to be retired. How do you make $1 million in folk music?
Start with 2 million.
I get it. It's a funny joke, but the fact of the matter is there's ways to make money in music, and we're trying our best to show you those ways. Now, you have every right to tell us, I'm not interested in that way. You don't have to be interested in that way. I was lucky enough, and hopefully he won't get mad at me for saying it. I was lucky enough to do some work with Ellis Paul over the summer. And one of the first things we did is we broke down all of his means of income, all of the things that he does to make his career work. And he's got well over 30 different lines of ways that he does that. So if you're looking at a single line and the single line is not making it work, there are options. And it is our job to make sure that you are aware of what those options are. If you choose not to use them, that's perfectly fine. But I'm really excited about tomorrow. The people that have been involved with the Spotlight program have been spectacular. Being able to put together the video for the last round of winners, to hear 3 experts in their field, the booker, one of the bookers for Club Passim, Ellis Paul, and Christian Demek from B&H, talk about all of the technically wonderful things that people did in putting together their videos, to be able to give that as a gift to our community members. So every time those people apply for a showcase, every time those people try to get someone to pay attention, they can say, oh, by the way, here's a master storyteller, one of the bookers of the most storied rooms in the Northeast, and a technical person talking about how great I am. To me, that's a gift. And I am so, so very happy that we were able to help make that happen. And, we did it for Gangster Grass 4 months ago, and look what's happening now. All of a sudden, just kidding. Congratulations to those.
Shout out. Yeah, shout out. He's a board member, everyone. Dan Whitener is on the board and plays the banjo for Gangsta Grass. So he's a bud. So watching him on ABC was or NBC, I forget. I don't have TV.
America's
it was
Got
awesome.
Talent on NBC.
Thank you. Sorry, NBC.
No, it's fine. And then, Ethan, what do we have coming up in mid-July after that?
Mid-July is so wonderful. It was one of those things. It was like, he's going to call me and make me remember stuff. I know that there are a lot of people that have come to NERFA in the past, and they say, I want to go to NERFA because I want to find a manager. I want to find a booker. I want to find someone that will make my career move.
Next level.
We have a really wonderful panel called Teaming Upwards. It's about building a team around your career, and I'm so amazed and so happy that Joe Crookston essentially volunteered to run that panel with his entire team. So it's Joe, his booker, his manager, and I believe Kimberly, you may have been drafted without me telling you, but you're going to be on that panel too. I think you're moderating it. But it's a really wonderful opportunity to not just look at what role all of those people play, but a actual team and how they work together.
Yeah. That's going to be fun.
And then it's the summer break.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have not noticed any other questions. I am very thankful. I believe that Voices in the Heights is our own Dan Godfrey being very, very kind to me. And thank you, Neil, for being here. Blaze, looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. And Lisa, we agree on Ellis Paul. He's one of those. He is one of those not so hidden treasures. He's just a treasure within the community. So unless anyone has anything else, we can call it a night. And thank you for coming. I should mention that moving forward, we are going to be doing community events like this that are really open questions and sort of a state of what's going on roughly every 3 months. It will feature different members of the volunteer and leadership community. It would be really great to hear from the other board members, as well as people like Pam Robinson from the Collaboration Committee and the other regular volunteers who just put their heart and soul into this. So be on the lookout. The next one will be in September. And we're really looking forward to continue this sort of crazy journey with you. And if anyone has any questions at any time about what's going on, I try to be an open book. Ethan@nerfa.org. I was about to say I'm an open book. Kimberly@nerfa.org. Email me there.
Well, you can anyone can
please.
email me at any time, and I'll pass it to Ethan.
Yes, please send Ethan all of your complaints to his personal email address, kimberly@nerfa.org. Just kidding. But in all sincerity, thank you so much to Kimberly and Ethan for your time, not just tonight, but all of the evenings and hours that you put into this incredible community. And I hope you all know that there is just so much happening behind the scenes, even just to get these amazing panels up, to get these community groups together. We hope that you'll join us more and more for either these panels, again, bi-weekly on Thursdays live, or you can watch them whenever. There have been multiple times where I haven't been able to actually make one and then have been able to watch it while I'm doing work the next day and have gotten some really great insight. I highly, highly recommend you check them all out, nerfa.org. Thank you so much to Kimberly and Ethan. And again, if you are at all interested in joining any of the aforementioned committees, or just want to know maybe how could I get more involved, you can email me at justin@nerfa.org. And if you think there's a place we should be other than Stamford, Connecticut, let me know that too.
All right. With that being said, we will end with a final plug for the Spotlight program, just because I want to make sure you guys, if you know anyone, there are so many musicians that I personally have, I believe I've pinged 40 different musicians today being like, come on, I know you put out videos, free money, and we get to talk about how great you are. So for the presenters that are here, reach out to the musicians that you know and love. Get them involved. And for the musicians, you get involved. The Honey Badgers are on here. You guys do good videos. I know you haven't won yet, but you will. Put it in. Go for it.
Where's my East Coast Canadians? Where's my Canadians? Come on. Canada, represent.
Benji was in there. We played one of Benji's videos earlier. He was one of our first five.
Tara Spencer from Nova Scotia.
She won for one of our first winners.
Lunenburg Moon.
Yes,
Shout out to Tara Spencer and the Bombadils.
With the Bombadils. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. And I'm looking forward to that video that we've been running, talking about what we thought we were going to be doing back in November. It'll be updated to talk about what we're actually doing in the not so distant future. Thank you all for your patience. Have a great night.
Thanks.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
This is a brief history of B&H, everyone's favorite photo and video store. The year was 1973. The Mets went to the World Series. The first cell phone call was made. And Bleamy and Herman opened a specialty photography shop at 17 Warren Street, New York City. They had a simple philosophy.
Be honest, treat people right, and they will come back.
Thanks, Irving. Also, free candy. And it worked. Over the next 20 years, we expanded and moved to West 17th Street, then 34th Street and 9th Avenue, and added more products. Lighting, binoculars, telescopes, audio, video, tripods, computers, printers, mobile, televisions, projectors, drones, and even more free candy. Now it's 3 stories and over 400,000 products and over 1,000 employees. We take millions of orders online and ship to 179 countries and counting. You can talk to us in person, on the phone,
B&H, how can I help you?
or online. Check out our checkout baskets. Also check out our checkout numbers. Also check out the flare on Marae's vest. And everyone's favorite part, our conveyor belt.
The benefit of the conveyor belt is you don't have to worry about the product or schlep it around anymore until checkout.
Nice. These are the owners. They still come to work every day. They're around here somewhere. Anyway, this is Jeanette. Oh, sorry, she's busy. This is our warehouse. This is Yakov and Levy fighting over lighting kits. B&H is not a chain. B&H is open every day, except Saturdays, of course. Now you know almost the whole story. We are B&H.